Another poor performance on the road for Derby County, and another game on the road where we just don't quite hit the standards or hit the level that we really need to be able to be picking up all 3 points. And obviously, if you've watched the game like I just have, you'll know that it was just very, very disappointing. Paul Warne and obviously the coaching staff will obviously have not have wanted this sort of performance today, but it's one of those again for me this season where we go away from home and in an attempt to go for it, and we don't ever actually go for it. I think in the first half we were very sloppy, both in and out of possession. If you don't follow me over on Twitter, I was giving my thoughts and opinions as the game was going on, and I just felt like we just didn't do enough in possession, didn't do enough out of possession. It felt like a very, very disappointing day in terms of what Derby County were doing. Obviously, there was a couple of changes to the side today with Kenzo Holdmine and was it who dropped out, and Kane Wilson dropping out with injuries, fitness issues, blah, blah, blah. Obviously, Kenzo, we know from previous games, has looked really, really tired. And Kane Wilson, obviously the only other fit right back, which meant Joe Ward came in. I can see Derby County now moving to a back three. A very, very disappointing situation for Derby. When you think about what we've lost over the course of the last few weeks. Obviously, David Ozo's out again for another few weeks. Obviously, Ryan Niambi's now out. Kane Wilson's now out. It's a very, very disappointing situation, and this result just adds to that, in my opinion. I think Stoke now go level on points with us, only behind on goal difference. And yes, we probably are the best promoted team so far. I think Oxford United lost again today as well, but for me, I just don't think we're showing anything major. I think at home, I think we're okay. I think in the Hull City game the game was probably well worthy of a draw. I don't necessarily think anybody else will probably say they deserved anything more out of it, but you obviously then go to this performance today versus Stoke, and you just think we could have done so much more. I think we probably should have started with a back three, in my opinion. Probably should have put the likes of Nat Phillips in that back three, go with a midfield three or midfield two of like what it started as, and then go with a front two with Jerry Yates and Dejan Brown. Obviously, then you've then got the opportunity to make an impression off the bench with the ability and pace that the likes of Nathaniel Mendez-Lang and Caden Jackson can bring. Obviously, you've got Corey Blackett-Taylor as well. I just think that we're making decisions and we're not really giving opportunities, in my opinion. And I just think Dejan Brown did a really good job the other day versus Hull City. I think he came on and did a fairly decent job today. Obviously, put the defender under pressure for our goal, which obviously came from a bit of a hopeful ball towards Dej, and then obviously their defender headed past their own goalkeeper, who was sort of in no man's land. And it's all right, like it's okay, it's just not good enough, really. And I think what Derby County need to do going forward is find a way to have an attacking output. I said it over on Twitter, we lacked attacking output, we were sloppy on and off the ball. I think we were able to be moved very easily around by Stoke City, and I think often on occasion we were caught too high up or too deep, and then when they were too high or too deep, we just didn't have the ability to break through the opposition. And I think we're really missing a proper... If you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below and turn on the notification bell to stay tuned for all of my latest Derby County and EFL content. Let me know your thoughts on today's game down in the comments. Even message me over on Twitter, tag me, whatever you want to do. And obviously let me know your thoughts. I think it's a very disappointing game today, but I'll let you get back to the video now. Hit that subscribe button and I'll catch you in the next one. Creative player in midfield. I think Kenzo Holdmine's decent in that role when he plays in the number 10, but obviously he's had struggles with fitness recently. Not necessarily injuries, but obviously was really tired towards the back end of the Oxford game, and then obviously the Millwall game he was a bit sloppy, and obviously the Hull City game was a bit of a rough one for him as well. So it's one of those for me where I just feel like we're going round and round in circles with the same problems that we've always had. Now, for me, I think what we need in January is very clear and obvious. I think there's a few players who are probably looking to be going out the door to obviously make room for that. You obviously look at the likes of Tom Barkhazen, not involved. You look at the likes of Connor Washington, probably another player who will probably be in that sort of iffy role of if he's going to stay or go. You look at Liam Thompson as well, probably another player who could potentially be on the move in the January window, and that's what we've got to do to open up the door to bring players in. Now, who will we bring in? I don't know, but I think we're certainly in need of a proper dictator in midfield. I think we're definitely in need of another striker. It's just very... These performances that we're seeing today, that we saw last week, that we've seen time and time again this season already, especially away from home, just it can't continue. Now, I haven't listened to Paul Warne's press. I'll listen to that later on, and then tomorrow when we talk about the fans forum in a video that will be coming out around 4 to 6ish tomorrow, we'll talk through all of those things, and it's just disappointing. And I think many of you will agree with me that at home we look like we can battle with anybody. Away from home we go back to looking like a League One team. Now, is it because Paul Warne is going away with the intention of trying to make things happen, or is it because he's not being tactical enough? Now, I personally don't know. Obviously, I'm not in the dressing room. I'm not part of the departments that deal with this, but for me, it's something which really needs to be dealt with over the course of the next couple of weeks. I think we've got another away day midweek. I think it's Coventry, which I'll obviously have a preview video out for, so make sure you stay tuned for that. But what can we do heading into that game? I think we're very unlucky that Nat Phillips wasn't sent off today. I think we can be very open and honest about that he probably should have been sent off with that foul in the second half. Obviously, the first one was very soft. The second one, I think, on another day is probably a straight red anyway. So we're obviously lucky in that regard. We're lucky with the goal, but we're not making the most of the luck we're getting given, and that's something which needs to be sorted out, whether it be changes to the team. But I personally think Dejan Brown should start on Wednesday in a front two, probably with Jerry Yates. I think we should have a midfield five of Elder, then obviously Harness, Ibu, and probably Kenzo. Right hand side, whoever you want to put on that right wing back position. It'd probably be Joe Ward to start, but you could then bring in Jackson, Nathaniel Mendez-Lang to come into one of those positions. Back three would probably be Nelson, Cashin and Phillips, with obviously Zetterstrom in goal, and I think that's just what we need to do. For me, it's something which, in my opinion, has to be done. We've got to go to that back three. We're lacking options at right back. We don't have a proper defensive player or someone who's even got defence on their mind in that position, and that's the disappointing thing for us right now, is we don't have someone to fulfil that role. We're obviously losing Ryan Niambi, and I think there is going to be an option over the next couple of weeks, maybe heading into the start of the next set of games after this international break, where Jake Rooney could potentially come in at right back. Now, he's played a lot of games for the 21s recently, getting himself back up to fitness, and I think if you go back to when he came into the Derby side last season, it was in a similar predicament to what we're in now, where Kane Wilson got injured, Joe Ward got injured, Jake Rooney was the only man available, and he played as that right centre-back, right back, and he did a really good job. So I do think that's something which could potentially be coming for Jake Rooney and for Derby County. Now, you can obviously let me know your thoughts down in the comments. If you have not done so already, make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're trying to hit the subscriber goal of 1,500 by New Year. Obviously, it's looking a bit of a push at the moment, but we can do it. Obviously, a few days off with illness, but we're right back to it. We'll be back tomorrow talking all about the Derby County Fans Forum. Let me know your thoughts of the game today down in the comments, and I'll catch you in my next video. Make sure to go and find me on TikTok, pictured here, and Twitter, pictured here. These are the places where I'll keep you all up to date with all my upcoming videos and my thoughts and feelings around the Formula 1 and football week.